Hi and welcome to my playhouse, and today we're gonna be talking about fiber optic cables and how to splice them and how to stretch them. Fiber optic cables are way older than we go around and think they are. Nowadays we use these newer SFPs and they're all electric, but back in the days they weren't all electric. They started out well, actually SFP stands for solar forced plant, and that's because in the very old days there was nothing that could well, you know, fiber optic cables, you send light through a cable and it's registered in the other end, and you send light back and it's registered in the other end again. And that technology wasn't, well, light is very old, so that was invented, but the converting light into electronics is a bit newer than that. And the first thing that was done was photosynthesis. But the first technology that was developed that could do that had to do with solar synthesis. I can't say that, but more or less it's the SFPs was a bit bigger then. They were more like even a little bit bigger than this one. This one is metal. Back then they were actually made out of a clay material, wooden clay, because inside there was a little bit of plant material. Mostly moss was used, because if you go out in nature and you see moss, it feels best if it doesn't get direct sunlight. So it's on the side of the tree where the sun doesn't shine, and it does not like direct sunlight very much. So what you would do you would have electronics in one end, and there would be some sensors up to the moss, and then when the moss got direct sunlight from the sun coming in, it would kind of give it a little effect, and that could be measured with the electronics. So that was well, sun had a reaction in the moss, and that became electronic, and that's where Morse code come from. You react the Morse with the sunlight and you get electronic out of it, and they of course did a code so that you could translate light into well, first bits and bytes and then words and messages and so on. So yeah, very old technology, but it has always carried in cables. They used to be thicker than this. This is more modern fiber optic cables. Not as much light comes through this one, and back in the day these cables were more stretchable. So this is about, I think this is about a 2-meter cable. Well, and once again the oil industry has really messed this up, because back in the days you bought a little cable and you can stretch it to the length you need. But as the oil industry, most of this is plastic, and plastic comes from oil, and the oil industry, well, they want to sell as much oil as possible, bring the price up. So just buying one cable, and it doesn't matter if you need 2 meters or 5 meters, you can just buy one. It's a way better business if you have to have 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters in stock to do your needs. So you can still stretch them, but it's definitely not advertised very much anymore. So you can buy these sets with the 2-meter cable, and then you just mount the other end. And these are actually meant for going through walls, because, well, it's clear to everyone that making this connector go through a wall is way harder than getting this tiny, well, when the cable is stretched this is even smaller, but, well, you would only have to drill that hole or get that through an empty pipe, and then you could just mount the other end. And it's fairly easy, but as this is something that they don't want you to do because they will make more money the other way, they have made it seem like the impossible thing to do, to stretch the cable and then connect the other end. And yeah, today it's not ordinary light going through the cables anymore. It's laser light, and you know, laser light is very precise, and that means that when the laser light is very precise, you don't have to be So if you're just somewhere around where it needs to go, the laser light will be, well, that's the precision, and you can fumble around a little bit in the other end and it will all be good, no problems whatsoever. So yeah, I thought we should try and stretch a bit of cable, and I don't know if we're gonna be hot gluing it or if we're just gonna be putting on some tape. There is another option of just gluing them in a plastic pipe. So yeah, let's see what we can do. So I have one of these small ones here, the tiny ones, and well, these can't be stretched as long as the other ones for sure, but you can still stretch them. You just need to breathe. Yeah, it's not easy, but it does stretch. It does become quite long in the end, so that's kind of cool. So now we can just take that one and we can connect an end on it, and we could stretch that as long as the other one. I think we could almost get a 5-meter cable out of that. So let's glue that together. So here we have the stretch cable. Yeah, the plastic has given away a little bit, so the fiber optic cables are somewhere in here. So we need to get a good edge. So first we'll just cut the cable ever so slightly to make sure that, yeah, that's good. Then we need a clear cut on the glass in there for it to have a good cut surface. For that I'm using a nail clipper for toes, mostly because it has a bigger radius on the cutting blade here. So where it's mostly flat, I'll cut the end off. There, very smooth and clean cut. We need to take our end here. Let's just say that this is the one that we are going to be mounting, so we'll do the same thing with this one. Make sure not to touch the ends afterwards. We don't want grease on our newly cut end there. We'll use some of this tubing here. This is heat shrink. It works pretty much the same way as the stretching of the cables. You can stretch that as well, and you get more heat shrink. We need to heat up the heat shrink, so I have a bit of a flame here, and I do really recommend to do this inside the data center where there is good ventilation. Yeah, we take our ends here, and we take our little plastic piece, and we have to make sure to butt them up as good as possible. The lasers will do a lot, but the closer we get to them being at the same point, the better a connection for sure. So yeah, I think I have it here. It's in the middle somewhere, and it doesn't take long at all. So yeah, we have I think I overdid this one. I think it's fine. I think it's good. At least a 100 gigabit connection right there, no problems whatsoever. So that's how easy it is to make your own fiber optic cables in the data center. If you think this is a bit of a stretch, you can always buy them, but well, it's much cheaper and easier to do it yourself. So if you like this little hack, be sure to share this video so your friends can also make their own fiber optic cables, and it's very easy. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.